You're listening to Ernestly Speaking, the only weekly podcast that covers friends, foes, and anything that goes. And now, for your badass host, Ernest Owens. And we're back for another episode of Ernestly Speaking with your host, Ernest Owens, myself. Whew, episode 40. I can't believe we've gone this far, but here we are, episode 40, the final episode of my 20s, because yes, I'll be turning 30 very, very soon. And so we're into a new series of episodes and also a new transition. So this will be the last episode I will be doing in my 20s. This would be, one of the final episodes I'll be doing as a bachelor. It's very reflective, very reflective. I was just thinking before I did this episode, how many memories and moments and experiences I've had each week doing this show, and how this, I guess, season 1 has really felt like a reality show of sorts, like all these amazing life experiences, planning the wedding, the book deal, all the other, surprises and things. And it seems like it's almost like a audio reality show of my life for everyone else. And in addition to everything else going on in Philly in the world. And it's been kind of cool. And it's also just so overwhelmingly, inexplicably humbling and flattering that I can go anywhere in Philadelphia and bump into people who listen to this podcast and read the work and just gush over it, or just, tell me how it made them feel about themselves or make them think about something in their life. And that connection is just awesome. And, I cannot wait to celebrate this show, my 30s, and everything more at the live taping, which invitations have been sent out. A lot of cool special guests and people will be in the audience. Some of my faves that just love listening to the show, like Josh Eats Philly. You all know Jamarcus is going to be co-hosting the episode. My good besties, George, and folks from my wedding party. Of course, Mr. Johnson's going to be there. My mom, just everyone's going to be at the live taping. It's going to be lit. And some of you all who listen to the show, who are really devout listeners, a couple of you all got to get a special invitation to come. And I see you all was confirming your RSVP and everything like that. So I can't wait to, hang out with you all in person at our cool secret location. And shout out to the wonderful sponsors. There's going to be food and drinks. Bartender Barry is going to be making an incredible Libra cocktail for the occasion, and it's going to be fun. I'm just over the moon excited about it. Just so many great friends and family, and everyone's coming, and it's kind of like a pre-party for the wedding. For a lot of the people that will be there will also be attending the wedding. So it's kind of like this, let's all get together and see each other before the big I do. So it's just going to be a really fun week next week. It's really going to be Ernest week. So that mania and everything starts next week. There's always pre-festivities. Like, for example, today, I got my nails done. And they're kind of cool. They're like the birthday nails. And I haven't done anything to my nails in 10 years. I realized that 10 years. The last time I got my nails, quote unquote, painted or done anything special was in 2011 at the Femme Fatale Tour, summer 2011, to see Britney Spears and Nicki Minaj when she wasn't, problematic. So Nicki was opening for Britney at the time. Britney had the Femme Fatale Tour. Nicki, at that time was hot off of Super Bass. Pink Friday had came out a couple of months prior, in 2010. So this was like a big deal, because Nicki and Britney Nicki was the guest of Till the World Ends. She was a special feature on there. And that's when Nicki was doing everybody's features. I remember she had Usher, she later did a Madonna. In this Till the World Ends remix was Kesha, and it was Nicki and it was also other, just other stuff going on. But that remix was lit, and I remember it was like Kesha on there, and then Nikki had the rap verse, which was pretty good. And that was when she was still doing like that Roman character, that alter ego, whatever she had going on, and it was lit. It was a lot going on that remix, but that was the connection. But of course, I remember going to, and I remember that Nikki was about to rise. This was 10 years ago before everything went downhill. But she was on the rise, and I was like, she's opening up for Britney Spears. Like this is okay. She's this is a different female hip hop moment. I mean, let's be clear. Kim was also doing the rap song collaboration. So, and Eve was too with Gwen Stefani. And so it's not like this hadn't been done before, but this was pretty special, to be, opening up like this, and the fans and the crossover. And I think that's why Nicki was able to get these early pop fans, because she kind of intersected. So, I just missed dear old Nicki, I RIP to the old Nicki. But this was that was the last time, and remember the outfit. Some of y'all seen it. So this is black leather. I guess it would be considered a cat suit to people today, and it was from a company called American Apparel, which no one wears American Apparel anymore. But this was when American Apparel was like so in. This was the end of my freshman year at Penn, and I went with a group of friends, and what I loved about American Apparel fashion was when it was made in the U.S. Even though there's other issues with the line, but at the time it was made in the U.S. and I love that they just had like non-logo clothes. It was like everything was like if you wanted some black leather tight pants or some shimmery gold tank top or some striped polka dot t-shirt, like you can just get the most simplest things there, and you can mix and match it with whatever else you had going on. And I love that. Like I just love the simplicity of their clothes, and like how necessary it is to get basics. They were a store that provided some really great basics, and you can just style it up however you go. So I had this really dope black cat suit, and I had these black painted nails, and I had a mohawk then, because that was when the mohawk was still in. But I kind of always had like a frohawk, but I loved that. I did the mohawk. I did, it was a very different era. If you go back and look, I had mohawk, I had frohawk, I had a like a pompadour, like the way that Miguel, the artist Miguel, used to have his hair. I had that style. I had a lot of interesting hairstyles. I've been through the phases. I see the kids now doing their thing. I'm like, listen, this has been done before, but it was a good time. So yeah, I got these done, and it's they're nice, and I like the shimmer. It's very subtle, but they still pop, and I like the colors and stuff. So I was excited about that. But I'm like doing all the like preliminary like things for next week, and I'm taking a whole week off. I've been very set on that. Like I don't want to do any work. I really don't. I'm really adamant. I already sent my memos like, listen, you better get me while you got me, because it's over next week. It's done. Like all next week, I'm putting all my energy in. I'm staying in a hotel for the entire week, and then also the weekend and some of the week after. Like I'm going to be in a weekend. I'm going to be in a hotel situation for like over a week, and I'm super excited about that. I'm going to spas. I'm doing facials. I'm doing all types of stuff. It's going down, and I'm just excited because all of my besties and people are coming in as early as next Monday. So I'm definitely in party mode. I'm in freedom mode. I'm just giving myself like the whole week to savor everything. And that's important, So, as you can see, this episode, it's going to be a bunch of mixed topics and stuff, because I do have some things I want to say, getting into Groomzilla mode. And I'm being sarcastic when I say Groomzilla. Like, people are like, oh, don't be that. I'm like, you all stop being so pedantic. But yeah, I just want to, there's some things I can finally say, because we're getting close to the big, huge celebration. But some things real quick. I want to say you all are right. You've been seeing these pictures. I did my third documentary taping for a third documentary this past week. It was phenomenal. Can't tell you what it's about, but just wanted to just say that it's going down. There's three I can now say I've taped and have been interviewed for three different documentaries that are by some incredible people on some incredible subjects and topics and things. And all of these three are definitely going to be something that you're going to hear about, you're going to talk about, you're going to see. And, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be super exciting to see how it plays out and everything and how they, how they use me in it. Because you just never know how the filmmaker and the editing and all that goes. I think that I made such a strong impression in my segment that I'm going to definitely be in them. But then you never know if the editor might only put only 5 minutes of you on, or if they keep you in consistently. You never know. But hell, all I know is I was there for a couple of hours and I got to, be in the moment and, add some flavor and personality. So hopefully we'll see, but it's coming and I'm super excited about them. Some should be coming as soon as the end of this year. One is definitely going to be happening at the very, very beginning of next year. And then the other one, the third one, should be coming out, who knows, probably later next year as well. So everything is, just stay woke, keep your eyes open, make sure your streaming accounts, no, make sure your streaming accounts here and your cable and everything is all well paid because it's gonna go down. That's all I can say. Hint, hint, hint. Um, so yes. So yeah, I want to say before I get into some of the hot topics and stuff going on until I get to one of my favorite angles and topics I really want to unpack. You know, I'm excited about being 30. I'm excited about my 30s. People's been asking me about that. Like, how do you feel about being in your 30s? Listen, my whole mindset is that I am excited about it because one, I'm ready to be grown. Clearly, on so many different levels. I think I'm grown. I'm grown now, right? I pay my own bills. I pay taxes. Okay, me and my fiance paid our entire wedding off ourselves. So we're pretty grown. But it's something about being in your 30s, I feel like where you can get to a point where you are able to navigate opportunities without people being so hung up on your age. I definitely have been an overachiever in my 20s. I definitely have achieved certain milestones that would take some people their mid 30s or 40s to achieve. And I recognize that. But one of the things that has always kind of been annoying is that sometimes my talent wasn't factored in based on my age. And I'm not trying to act like, oh, everything was ageism, but there was definitely a lot of paternalism. And I do like the fact that I have been able to age into a position where I continue to be as hardworking and passionate, but also, have a little bit more of the longevity to a certain extent to back it up. I can be able to say, I have been a journalist for 10 years. I can say that I've done journalism professionally in some type of way, shape, and form for a decade now. And people are like, what does that mean? 10 years. Yeah, because I started while I was in college. I was getting published at some of the hottest publications and spots very early in my career. I started very, very early. And I don't want to be handled like an entry level, not by the industry, but just by other peers and people that I work with. I'm tired of being told, oh, you just a baby. That is not cute. I don't know. I don't like it. I get that told. I mean, it's one thing if it's being said by, you know, family members and people of that nature, but I hate like grown ass people in professional settings calling me a baby in adult settings. That's just not because it already sets the tone and the vibe of where you see me and how you place my beliefs and my thoughts or how you value my opinions. And listen, I have raised thousands upon thousands of dollars as a nonprofit leader in different spaces. I have definitely been in rooms and had to do crisis communication on some really adult grown shit. And I just am not in a place to be getting tossed around, dismissed like a baby anymore, especially when I'm doing some grown ass things. So I look forward to being 30 and being in a space where if someone comes at me like that, I'm really going to be a place like, listen, I'm going to always respect my elders and folks, but I'm also going to put my foot down and say, hey, I'm a grown ass man. You can't be doing all that. But I look forward to that aspect of it. And also, I look forward to being able to just not feel like I have to explain anymore. I feel like in my 20s, regardless of where I was at in my career, I always felt like I owed people like an explanation for certain things. Now, clarity is important. Clarity and explanation are two different things. But sometimes I feel like I had to always have an explanation for people about why I decided to do a certain thing and whatnot. I think at 30, I'm at a place where I'm like, because I did. because I chose to. And this is my opinion. It's okay. We can agree, disagree, and that's fine. Like I don't have to give you a whole ration. I don't have to explain myself to everybody, everything. I don't have to overthink everything. I think I'm going to give explanations fully to people that I find myself accountable to, and that's not too many people. And I think sometimes people feel like they have to be accountable to everybody all the time, and I just think that has been exhausting over the years, and I have definitely have slowed down from that. But that's definitely something in my 30s I'm looking forward to being like, I ain't giving you no explanation. I don't want to do that phone call. I'm not doing that. I'm not even going to entertain that shit. Like that's where I'm at now, and it's because you get to a place where you start to really see patterns, and I'm noticing patterns, and how do you break certain cycles? That's where I'm at. As far as friends go, I don't have any room to force new friendships. I kind of like the people I have now. If new relationships emerge, it's that's not going to be based on this. I like you, so you gotta like me, so let's hang out kind of thing. I've had a lot of people in my past do that, and while at times it's flattering and it's like, oh, that's nice, you realize you don't be knowing half these motherfuckers. You don't really be knowing people. People just be liking you for different reasons, and it's like, okay, yeah, but then there's also that weird expectation about what they expect from the relationship or what they want. And it's like, did I even choose to have this relationship, this connection? And understanding the importance of acquaintances and friends have definitely been a strong lesson I've learned, especially the last th- 2 to 3 years. Yeah, I would say I have definitely began to understand that there are some people in life that's just meant to be an acquaintance. And I don't want to force anything more than just that. And there's some people where I'm like, you know what, you and I really do hit it off and I do really like you. And I mean, this is a cool situation and this is a friendship. And there's some people where it's just like, you're just really an acquaintance. Like you're just somebody that, like, look, I see an event, but it's not anything more than just that. I'm not going to go to your house. I'm not having dinner with you. I'm just going to see you out and about. What's up? And keep it moving. You're not going to be like at my wedding. And there's a lot of people that had that perception, child. Like, oh, I mean, Ernest and I know each other really well. I got to be at his wedding. And it's like, did we hang out enough? Did we connect enough? I will say that there are some people that I definitely gotten to know better in the last couple of months. And if this isn't probably going to happen, but if my wedding would have had a rapid change or something, some of those people I would probably call and say, "Hey, can you slide? You can come." But that's a very select small few. Most people, though, no. It just no. And I think some people are social climbers, very much so. There's some people that don't know they like me, but they don't even know why they like me. They don't actually listen to what I say. They actually really read. Like I think Britney was saying this, Britney Spears, in an interview years ago, but she was like, when I'm talking, people are listening, but they really hear what I'm saying. And that's how sometimes I feel with a lot of my white followers is that they list they read and they see this thing and like, yeah, I like it. But I'm like, do you really know what I'm saying? Are you recognizing that you might be doing a lot of the things that I'm critiquing? Do you not recognize that it's not just this feel good thing? It's some real. A lot of what I write about is based on real. Well, they are based and inspired by real life experiences that have happened to either myself or people I know, and a lot of this comes from a place of frustration and a want of change, and it's not subservient to just preach and hell yeah. A lot of it is meant to be something to sit with and reflect on and really get your shit together on, depending on where you stand on the whatever that topic might be, whether it's homophobia or racism or whatever. And I sometimes feel like some people just, I don't do this, I don't feel this way, but they will caricature me in this sense of like, oh, he's that spirit animal, and I hate that term. Okay, people use this term spirit animal. Oh, Ernest is my spirit animal. The fuck? First of all, that's offensive to indigenous people because that is a reference in their culture and things like that. So, spirit animal isn't really a good term to be using. Just putting that out there. But second, it's also like it just feels tropish. And as I get in my 30s, I think about that. Like sometimes you can't control how people perceive you. And I have realized that I have become a larger than life cultural figure to to Philadelphia and even outside of Philadelphia, but in Philadelphia specifically, I have definitely become this image and this persona and this thing, and I get it, but to a certain extent, how that image is being defined and curated by folks, I have been mindful not to co-sign it. Because there are people who will come up to me and be like, "Yeah, I like that. You a don't care, loud, proud black man." I'm like, loud? What do we mean by loud? I mean, listen, I can't control how people think of me, but if you're around me, I'm not gonna let you define me by stereotypes and by things that isn't who I think I am. Now, what people do in their own homes and how they perceive it to be, it is what it is. A lot of that falls in stereotypes that black people can't control, right? There's people that just are going to think whatever they think. They look at Beyonce and say, "Oh, Beyonce's someone said my inner black woman." A lot of white gay men will say people are their inner black woman. It's like, you don't have an inner black woman. Stop fucking doing that. Stop saying that. That's horrible. And people should tell people that. Stop saying these types of things. These things are racist. These things are problematic. Cut it out. And I've seen that type of thing where because I'm black and I'm gay and I have personality and I have opinions, then it's this very performative, "Oh no, you didn't" thing that like white people like to snap on when they talk to me. I'm like, don't do that. Let's not. And I will play people in their fucking face when they try that shit. I will look at them like they're weird. And my best friend directors, we both look at them, we just quiet, we're like, okay, this is weird. And we make you feel awkward because that's not, don't come with that energy. It's not that kind of game. Especially when I don't know you. Be regular, be normal. I mean, whatever that means. Be respectful, right? Just say hi. And there's people that do it. Like I was getting my nails done, and this woman came up to me. She's like, "Hey, I love your writing, and I just want to say hi." I was like, "Oh wow," because I had a mask on. I didn't even think she'd recognize me, but someone recognized me. I think it's the Crocs because I have weird color Crocs and stuff, and people are noticing all these little things on my body. But she was just like, "I just love your writing." I was like, "Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that." And then I'm very nice. I'm chill. I don't do too much. I went out to Vauvert and the special chef there, who's named Kiki. She's so nice. She used to, be at Poi Dog, which was a great Hawaiian restaurant that was so great. Now she's doing a residency at Vauvert, which is by Chef Jose Garza, who I love, as you all know, and it's at the Kimmel Center. And she was there, and she definitely fangirled in a good way. She was like, "Oh wow, I really am surprised to see you in person," and she was just telling me how much she admires the stuff I do and write. And I loved her food, and her food was incredible. And Barry was out with me, and I was with some friends, and it was cool. And I shouted her out, and she was just so nice. It's like you could just be nice like that, people. And she's getting married too, and I'm super excited about her wedding. She's doing some cute stuff. So, yeah, just be normal and nice, like Kiki and other folks. You don't have to be like weird. Um, oh, first world fame problems. Um, Speaking of that, there is a book that is out now, and this is what I realized. I mean, not that I haven't already in some case, but this is when I realized shit was real. So there is a book, a really good book that is out. I got a chance to read it in full because I was hyped. So there's a novel that is by two incredible authors, and it's set in Philly. Philly is like the background. It's a novel, people. And it's written by two authors. And that was the first thing that struck me was the fact that it was two people writing a novel, which it's been done before. It's not the first time it's done, but it's interesting because it's written by a black woman and a white woman who have joined forces. They're friends. They've written books before, but this book is everything. It's called We Are Not Like Them. It's a novel by Christine Pride, who's the black woman, and then Joe Piazza, who's the white woman. And they're telling basically, this intertwined story about their lived experience. Now, it's a novel, but it's written through the voices and perspectives of two friends, one who's black and one who's white, as they navigate life and everything. And it's a Good Morning America book club book, which is a dope thing. I mean, it's like the book is getting all this attention, and I definitely can see it on everybody's favorite lists. But in one particular section of the book, one of the characters, who's a journalist, says, "Every year with the stupid mummers, a century-old tradition where a bunch of xenophobic old white men dress in blackface, brownface, redface, and women's clothes to parade through the city on New Year's Day. Sean forwarded me a link this morning with an op-ed by Ernest that ran in Philly Mag a couple years ago with the headline, "Want to solve the mummers diversity problem? Just call it the White Heritage Parade." I'm hardly going to raise my hand for this one, and Scotty has better sense than to even look my way. With everything happening this year, you'd think they shut the parade down. But so far, the mayor has simply issued a stern warning to the mummers to be on their best behavior or else. So that's a section from this book. And I was like, what? Whoa. Wait, what? A character is reading is the character, it's not an autobiography. This is a character in a novel referencing it's the Philadelphia is the background, but like I am incorporated in this story. It was wow. And I was shocked. I've heard of Joe Piazza and I've heard of Christine Pratt, I've heard of their work and things like that. But I didn't even know that they was reading my work or a thing. I didn't even know that was like a thing. And so I was like, holy shit. And I had a couple of friends and people just text me telling me, hey, you're in this book. And I'm like, what? So it was dope. I'm in someone's like novel, y'all. Like as a whole reference. And by the way, as you all know, that article was real. Like I wrote this article back in I think 2008, 2007. It's been a minute since the piece came out, but I wrote it during the Mummers Day Parade, many years ago. And you all know kind of my whole kerfuffle with them. And I think that actual piece inspired the situation with the Mummers and I when I was in the counterterrorism unit and, they did the whole Karen Chad thing and I was interrogating all that stuff. It's all on Google. You can Google Mummers, Ernest Owens, counterterrorism unit. It was a hot ass mess. But this was the piece that inspired that situation, FYI. But for Joe Piazza, it was just nuts. So I shared on Instagram, and she said it was one of her Ernest faves, like one of her favorite pieces that I've written. She said, quote, on Instagram, she said, it's a personal Ernest fave, referencing the piece. So flattering. And it's moments like that, like these cute gestures that just kind of, come from the sky. Like, someone's thinking of me and wanting me to be in their book. And I made it through all the edits and line edits and revisions and everything. And it was like, we got to keep this reference. So it's a real Philly story. She definitely did her research. They did, both of them actually. Pride and Piazza, they definitely understood the assignment. Because there's no way you could talk about journalism in Philly or have a character in the newsrooms. And I guess, what do I know? But I was very flattered about that. And that was very sweet. And, yeah, that felt good. So, these moments. So I'm going to get into hot topics because, it's a lot to talk about. I got a couple of things I want to talk about. And of course, we got to talk about this wedding stuff because, y'all, normally I do my wedding stuff at the top, but I got some things to say. I think it deserves its own segment in the hot topics. We could, it's not a warm up. It is a hot topic. But for starters, let's get to Dave Chappelle. I'm going to keep this really brief. He has this special on Netflix called The Closer. All these damn specials on Netflix. I'm just so, it's so weird. What's up with it? What's up with the what's up? I don't understand what's happening, or, I do, but I hate it. That all of these, black geniuses or people who have had some level of creative talent, okay? Dave Chappelle is a Mark Twain, award winner, for his, his comedy, his humor. He's a Grammy winner, an Emmy winner. He's won numerous, awards, and his comedy at some point in time used to carry some real weight and meaning and power, and it was groundbreaking at one point in time. And I grew up seeing some of it, and yes, some of it was tasteless, but some of it, there was something there. And now, I don't know what the fuck has happened. Like, some people, I just realized, some of these quote-unquote legends, people that we look up to, or not even look up to, but value or see as intellectual beings or forces of nature, they get to a point where they don't adapt or age well with the times. Like, they don't know how to evolve. They don't know how to get beyond a certain state of mind. And there's some people that like live in one era and they never know how to transition beyond that era. Some of your favorite musicians. Like, there's some artists that you're probably listening to, you're like, dude, we don't do that anymore. You're still, like, I feel like Eminem has aged poorly. I think he does not know how to evolve past that very angry young white man syndrome society. Well, there's always been an angry white man society, but there was a certain milk carton white boyness that was very popular in the late '90s, early 2000s, and I don't think Eminem has learned how to evolve past that image. Like he just continues to be a shell of himself in his music and everything else, and he just hasn't been able to really adapt. I mean, yes, he's got, guys like him had a massive following, has diamond albums, so it is always going to be a cult following that's going to support what he does. But his content, his music has never been anything that has ever grown or evolved past the height of his career in that early 2000s. Now, there's some artists that as they get older, they evolve and reinvent themselves for better, for worse, depending on where they stand. I think of Madonna, I think of Janet, I think of, Beyonce to a certain extent. They evolve and different things come to them, right? But that's not some of these artists. And that's clearly not the case for Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle just is at a point now where he's making his own controversy, and then he's making specials to respond to the controversy that he caused in his last controversial episode. Like, now he's like, there's so much other shit going on, and this is what you're choosing to do. Like, there's a pandemic, there's other stuff in the world going on, there's so much other things to talk about, and you're still obsessed with having something to say about LGBTQI people. But the issue I'm having, and I listen to people like Raquel Willis and other black trans people and queer people and others in the community have to say about this, is that I really am sick of everybody that's not us to have something to say about this shit. I don't care what cishet people have to say. I don't care what the straights have to say. I don't care about non-black LGBTQI people have to say about this at this point. I don't care, because we're the ones that are, at the end of the day, the brunt and the target and the brunt of these jokes. And what his jokes and his humor does is normalize a reality in our community where people think that it's okay to say. And we're consistently on the brunt end of these jokes, and also the targets of a lot of the harm that comes from these jokes. It is just real. And the problem is that white LGBTQI people who are taking up space trying to chastise Dave Chappelle, that's exactly what Dave Chappelle wants to do. Because what he wants to do is then turn around and then, critique you all in your whiteness to deflect from the real accountability what you've done wrong. And guess what? There is some truth to that, but he's the wrong fucking messenger for it. The issue I have with a lot of white, gay, lesbian people who are oftentimes trying to chastise black folks for their homophobia and transphobia is that you don't keep that same energy with other white people who do the same thing. And you also do not make it a point to hold accountability for the racism within the community that you're claiming you care about. That's something I can say. But Dave Chappelle doesn't give a fuck about me as a black queer person or any of my black trans siblings, right? So Dave Chappelle is weaponizing that very racism and anti-blackness that you all do hold and y'all do perpetuate to deflect from the larger conversation on how to protect LGBTQ people as a whole. So it's a situation where white LGBTQ people need to take a step back and say, you know what? Why can't we amplify the black queer voices that have an issue with Dave Chappelle? Why do we have to push them out the way, talk on their behalf, and then talk on everybody's behalf? Because you're not helping. And Dave Chappelle is using that against the community as a whole. The LGBTQ community is not just white. I don't know how many times I have to say that. I don't know how many times do I have to say that. We are full of other black people, queer people. We are all in this community. It's a sexual orientation, not a racial spectrum. It's a sexual orientation, gender identity, sexual expression. It's all of those things, and that is intersectional. So I get so annoyed that white queer people are dominating the conversation on going after Dave Chappelle. Because again, you are some of the same white gays that were saying gays for Trump. And he knows this. I know this. Sit the fuck down. Seriously, sit down. 5 years ago, around this very time, because someone reminded me, because I had channeled it out of my head. But 5 years ago, around this time, I was breaking stories when I was the LGBTQ editor for Philadelphia Magazine around neighborhood racism. And this was the same time the community, black activists, the Black and Brown Workers Collective, which is now the Black and Brown Workers Cooperative, that was co-founded by Abdul Ali Muhammad and Shania Kill. And they organized and got together to protest a bar in the neighborhood known as Eye Candy at the time. That was, the owner was saying racial epithets, calling people nigger, and saying this on camera, and this is getting caught on camera, and all of that stuff was going on. There was massive protests. The Office of LGBT Affairs Director at the time, Nellie Fitzpatrick, who got fired, thank God, was not doing her job in addressing this issue seriously and taking it seriously. The Philadelphia Commission on Human Relations had to step in and do hearings. This all happened around this very time 5 years ago. So when I was turning 25, okay, I was out here in these streets covering these protests and dealing with all the gaslighting that came with it. Okay, that was 5 years ago. And so I was very much aware, I'm very much aware of the racism and anti-blackness of white people in the LGBTQ community, which is why I don't trust them when they try to go out here and confront other black people with homophobia, like the baby and all this, when they don't keep that same energy with the racist white people in their own sector. They don't protect us around it. They don't see it. And so it's a lot. Okay, but the point I'm trying to make here is that Dave is trash. You all need to get your hypocrisy and get that shit cleared. And let's censor black LGBTQI voices who have to deal with Dave Chappelle's shit and deal with these white people's racism simultaneously. Let us get the chance to ask us what we think about the situation. Media, stop talking to every white AED and president of some organization about this. Talk to us. Ask me questions. Ask black trans women questions. Ask Raquel Willis questions. Raquel Willis did some interviews. Ask people in the community what they think about it that look like me. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that got to walk down the street and get people rolling their eyes because we got fingernail polish, or looking at us sideways because we got a partner that is the same gender. This is the shit we have to deal with. And a lot of the time, people like Dave Chappelle, he's not the creator of those issues, but he does amplify on a massive scale. And I just feel like you're corny as fuck. There's not any more jokes. You can make so many other jokes. Why are you obsessed with us? Like, at this point, it's not healthy. Like, why is Dave Chappelle obsessed with our community? Like, he just cannot shut the fuck up. And in his references, like, he's always thinking he's dropping some wisdom. And there's a lot of dumbasses out there that's like acting like Dave Chappelle is saying something so profound and smart. People are really dumb out here. Oh my God. Like, folks are really dumb. Like, they're like, oh, he said, look, Dave should, the baby killed a man in the Walmart, which is true. Dave, the baby has murdered someone, or not murdered someone. I can't say murdered, but he has killed someone. Killed someone. Okay, murder and killing is two different things. Clarity, he killed someone at a Walmart many, many years ago. And he was bringing up that, the LGBT community, they have a problem with that, but they had a problem when he made homophobic references. First of all, why isn't the onus on the LGBTQ community to be mad that he killed somebody? Did he kill a gay person? Did he kill somebody from our community? Why was we supposed to be outraged? Why were you all not outraged that he did that? Why were you all not shocked or disappointed or anything like that? The hypocrisy is real. Why is the onus on us to care about everyone else's shit? That's like someone defending R. Kelly, right? Saying nobody was upset when R. Kelly was out here cursing and getting in fights, but the victims are mad about his rape and sexual abuse. Why do they have to care about the other atrocities? Why was it their responsibility to care? I mean, that's like the same type of logic. Like, so I'm supposed to care about everything else this other person is doing, but not everything else? What a deflection. But that's what he do. And then it's the same pattern. And he likes to do it. He likes to be the news. And he likes to run around here and bitch and complain about, oh, cancel culture, trying to cancel me. Dave, you're still making millions of dollars. You're still getting a platform. No one gives a fuck. Like, you're still rich. You're still getting awards. You're still getting nominated for awards. Where are you being canceled? No one's canceling you. And to be quite honest, no one's canceling a lot of these people that think they're getting canceled. I mean, did you hear R. Kelly's sales have soared 500% after he was convicted on sex trafficking charges? Convicted. And his shit went up 500% after the conviction. So get the fuck out of here with this whole second chances and shit. The man ain't gonna be able to touch that money. The royalties, he ain't gonna be able to get that money. But his fucking shit has soared since. And they don't even talk about the fact that if you look outside that courthouse, when he was convicted, there was tons of people black women, black men, other folks that was out there hoping, trying to, worship him. Celebrity culture is real. So this whole council culture, pity these motherfuckers, these people have cult followers and supporters that will die by them and still support them in spite of it. So kiss my ass with all this, oh, we got to think about the harm and damage. People make mistakes. Yeah, ain't no fucking mistakes. Sex trafficking ain't no fucking mistake. It's a choice. It's a fucking choice. Dave Chappelle gets his ass up there and he has a million reasons to shut the fuck up and he chooses not to. Have you ever thought that there are people that want to escalate and create problems to martyr themselves to make more profit? Because there are people that actually do that. There are people that actually want to get in more shit and test the waters so they can build this controversy around them because they think it sells. People want to pretend they're a victim. It's disgusting. And it's very obvious what's going on. And I just wish people would just stop falling for the bait. Just shut up on the topic. You don't know what you're talking about. I was seeing something on Black News Channel, which I don't care much for that network personally. I just think too much is going on there, and I think it's just I'm going to just keep watching and seeing if we'll see. Let's see if it makes it to 2-3 years. Let's see how far this can last. I'll just say that much. But what I will say is that they're on there and they got these people on there talking and having opinions and just telling people, listen for yourself, see for yourself. Why are you giving cushions to motherfuckers like this? Just say that this is what you believe. Speak for your fucking self. People try so hard to act like they're coy or neutral. There's no such thing as neutrality when it comes to shit like this. It's not. It's not. I don't know. You don't know? You don't know where to stand on someone like this? You don't know where to stand on homophobia? Yeah, you do. You're just a coward. You're a coward. I have no respect for cowards. You're a coward. At least Dave Chappelle shows who the fuck he is. And you can choose to say no, right? But with these other guys that like to play both sides, I cut the middleman out. I cut both sides people out. I am literally about 99% done with about both sides people. There's a couple I have to put up with because they're part of the work I have to do. But outside of that, I'm not choosing to be in any circles with neutral people. If you're neutral, go somewhere else with that shit. Especially when it comes to things like this. You just can't. I don't fuck with neutral people. In my 30s, I'm not. If you're neutral like the Netherlands, go somewhere else with that shit. This is a very one side, left side way. Sorry, bye. I mean, we can agree, disagree on some issues, but when it comes to my livelihood, my existence as a black person, as a queer person, as both, you don't get to say, oh, I don't know about that. No, you don't respectfully disagree on the extermination of my existence. Fuck out of here. So that's how I feel about Dave Chappelle. So let's get into this slightly before I get to this. I think they're going to bleed together. Adele is back. Adele's got a new song that's going to come out right before my wedding. Autumn's here. She's showing up on the front covers of Vogue. I mean, it's just like one moment you just don't hear from somebody, and the next thing you know, you get smacked with everything. Like, I just love these returns. I mean, these returns and like how the media shifts and artists just planning it out. It's very obvious that Adele is planning this rollout. Like, I am guesstimating that this album is going to come out on November 12th. No, November 19th, because Taylor Swift's Red, Taylor's version, is coming out November 12th, which I'm super excited about. It was initially going to come out November 19th, but now she's moved it to November 12th, and people try to figure out why. And I guess we all know at this point, it's because Adele's going to probably drop that album, and so Taylor don't want that smoke. Okay, themselves, listen, Taylor got power. Okay, because Fearless, Taylor's version, sold really well earlier this year. But I think she wants to have another number one album with her re-releases, which is dope and super impressive, and I'm super here for it. And I'm just into this. And Red, as you all know, is one of my favorite Taylor Swift albums. I really loved Red, and she's doing more songs, and I'm just fanning out. Okay. And I want to listen to it because I have actually not listened to Red because I've been avoiding all of those Scooter Braun albums. I've only been listening to her latest albums, which she has her creative control over. And I've been listening to Fearless re-recorded. But I haven't listened to Reputation because, I just haven't listened to it as much because of that. I've only been listening heavily to Folklore. Folklore's been heavy. And then Evermore. And then, Yeah, Fearless Taylor's version, Lover, of course. But that's really been it. I think the rest of the albums have since been, those are still the old Scooter Braun tracks and the owners and the sales. So I've just been waiting for her to re-release her other stuff and just listening to it as it go. But I mean, Red has been the hardest one to wait for, but I've been waiting loyally. So I haven't listened to anything off of Red, and I'm just waiting patiently, and it's coming. But in the meantime, Adele also is going to drop this new single coming out. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to what it sounds like. Like her old shit, it's gonna sound the same. I don't want to be shady, but like, so Adele. So there's rumors that it's a lot of rumors about it, but the new song is going to be called "Easy on Me," which is her first single in 6 years. It's called "Easy on Me." Every people are trying to figure out where this is going, like what direction is she going with her sound. We don't know yet, but based on the way the video looks in that piano, it looks like it's gonna be what she always do. And listen, if it's not broke, don't fix it. That's just where I stand on it. If it's not broke, don't fix it. If that makes sense. My logic is if it's not broke, don't fix it. So I'm really here for this thing. I would say, and I told a good friend of mine, a lot of men, people are a little upset about this. They say that Adele's like a broken record, no pun intended, that she always does this same type of sound and look and things. But I would just say, to be fair, a lot of men in the industry do not evolve. Not that many men in music has evolved. They don't have to. They always give us the same thing. Chris Brown has been giving us the same singles and songs. If you still listen to them, I haven't. I've stopped listening for years. But he's been giving you the same sounding song for like the past 8 years, and ain't nobody saying Chris Brown needs to mix it up. I mean, it's like almost like Doug going in a dresser and seeing all of the same green, white, khaki shorts with the green vest and the white shirt. Like Doug is wearing the same thing every episode of Doug, right? Same thing with Arthur. That's how Chris Brown is to me. Like the art, Chris Brown is literally giving us the same producers, the same sounds, the same dance moves at this point. He's redundant. And he get away with that. Even Bruno Mars, like Bruno Mars had a moment where he was evolving as an artist. And I was feeling it, right? But then after Uptown Funk, Bruno has kind of stayed in the same era, the same look. He ain't straighten that hair. He got the same shaggy look. He looking like he is stuck in the 70s, early 80s. I mean, he has not evolved. But he doesn't have to, right? There's this pressure for people like that not to have to feel like they have to evolve. And I think that that's something that is very telling, that a lot of people in this industry don't feel like they have to do anything differently um, as far as the artistic expression and things that they want to do. Like no one's like questioning, the men in the industry. Like Ed Sheeran doesn't really do too much. I mean, I love The Weeknd, but even The Weeknd, like he has a very pretty much solid like sound or look, and it's obvious that he's not going to change that about himself. Like it's very clear that he's going to stay doing that type of sound. And that might be the thing. That might be um the look. And maybe that's what he likes. And again, it sells because we don't expect, like I said, we don't expect that much of men in the industry. We don't, they can pretty much not have to evolve. But women are always, especially black women, right, in music, they're always being told they have to evolve, that they have to do something differently, that they have to change it up, or otherwise they're going to be stale. And there's always that expectation of women in general music, I feel like Madonna, how many times did she have to quote unquote evolve? How many times did like Madonna have to, or I mean Janet, how many times she did? I mean, Beyonce has given us a dozen different looks. Rihanna had to do it 1,000 times. Even Taylor Swift, right? None of these women, even Celine Dion to a certain degree, had to change up certain things. But that doesn't happen to the men. The men can pretty much stay doing the same old thing all the time. Shout out to people like Usher, who's mixed up a little bit through time, right? The Weeknd has found a groove and he's gonna stick with it. Ed Sheeran the same way. Chris Brown, Who else out there? What other men is in me? I mean, Justin Bieber has now found this particular look, and he's staying with. I mean, this has been a consistent, bad boy, white Chris Brown, reformed boy look he's been doing for a couple of albums now. But he doesn't have to evolve or change up or clean up or do anything at this point. He's going to stay this ruggish, thuggish white boy, right? Like he doesn't have to change his look or anything, and people are going to still listen to him. So I've noticed that with the men in music, they don't have to really change, but women are always expected to. And I think with Adele, it's interesting because sadly, there has been a change. And I think it's sad because of just like the culture, right? Adele decided, right, as an artist, she wasn't going to change. I mean, it seems like she's not changing her music style, but her appearance. And so that's been the focus. All this reinvention has been centered around Adele's appearance. So this expectation of change in appearance and look has changed from the music to the appearance, but something has to evolve for change, or else we would, as a society, we're forced to say, oh, this person's stale, they're redundant, right? And it seems to be that way. I mean, nothing about Adele vocally or her music style seems to have changed, but her appearance has, and that's become the obsession and the focus about her that makes it fresh. As somebody who is not like obsessed with celebrity appearances and hung up looks, I'm trying to figure out what is going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on outside of that? Like, what's happening? So it's been some interesting. It's going to be interesting to see this album roll out. I don't want to talk too much and say too much out there because there's still more. Like, we got to hear this song. We got to figure out what's going on with this single and, what it's going to sound like. But, there's some things being said, speculations, rumors, all the rumors. We'll see. We'll see. But I do think it's interesting to start having that conversation. Are you fat shaming? Are you projecting food insecurity, image consulting, all that kind of stuff? Is this a thing? Let's figure it out. So, yes. Sidebar, there's been a lot of conversation about, Matthew McConaughey breaking his silence, for running for Texas governor. And he's in an interview on the Sway podcast. Basically, he's from Texas, which, I grew up in Texas, talking about he's wavered on whether he could affect real change as a politician, and basically called the state's abortion ban juvenile in its implementation. He's not interested in running for governor, which is great. He says he needs to figure out if the role would allow him to make a difference. The answer is no. Matthew McConaughey, no. Why do people even entertain this? I don't even know why every white man celebrity that thinks he wants to do something, they always are obsessing over this reality that they want to do. Stop it. Please. Please. So. So. I have to talk about this because well, for starters, I'm always going to talk about something. There's been this thing happening with this woman named Jessie Nelson. I wasn't even going to talk about it because I didn't even know who is that? One of the, Maury sisters was like, who is that? Who's that girl? So Jessie Nelson, there's this video called Boys, was spelled with a Z, featuring Nicki Minaj. Because Nicki Minaj, I guess, is doing everybody's songs now. She's got to do what she got to do with that pedophile, convicted sex offender of a husband. People call him a pedophile, but that's allegedly. I'm just saying that he's a convicted sex offender. That he is. And he is not allowed to, people are saying he's not allowed to be around children. But, and I say but, Nicki apparently had a birthday party for her small child, their child, Nicki and Kenneth Petty. And there were people saying, why was he around little children, underage children in these photos? Because he's a registered sex offender. Like, is there like a space, a long distance or something? Like, are they violating that? It's been a lot said about it. Her child is named Papa Bear. They threw a birthday party for him. I forget how old he's turned. But they throwing a little birthday party for him, and these kids are around in these photos, and it's like, why is Kenneth around them? But, it's been interesting how much Nikki's been trying to normalize the situation. Even so much that she's apparently going to be hosting the Real Housewives of Potomac on Bravo with Andy Messy fucking Cohen. Like, what the fuck? I mean, it's interesting. She's on this rehabilitation tour. So Nikki disappears for a period of time after all of the stuff that was said about, uh, the accuser, right, Miss Huff. What is the update on that? Like, we just saw this, and everybody just said nothing. Jennifer Huff basically shared this information. This lawsuit is going on. This What's going on? And like Nikki just waits about 2 weeks for the controversy to die down, and it just goes back out there. We're gonna act like we don't know what's going on. It's just Holly weird, very Holly weird, La La Land for sure. But back to this Jessie Nelson. She was a group called Little Mix. She left the group over mental health concerns. Apparently, there was some other racism happening with one of the other members. She's British, or she's a part of this group. They're British, or whatever the case is. And she is now solo, and she is being accused of blackfishing, which blackfishing is a term by a black woman named Juana Thompson. Okay, she coined the term blackfishing. So it's very important that when we see these terms, we gotta acknowledge, the black women and the scholars, or the people who've put these terms together. It's very powerful and interesting. So she coined this term blackfishing, and she's definitely have talked about it. She was on BBC's Woman Hour interview talking about what is blackfishing, and she's talked about it on social media. She's done a lot. She's written a lot about this. She did a piece for Paper Magazine, a really good piece called "How White Women on Instagram Are Profiting Off of Black Women." So she's talked about this beyond just music. Let's be clear, but just the energy that has happened. So blackfishing, if people don't understand, is when white women or non-black women acquire black features in their look, whether it's the type of makeup they do, the hairstyles, the way that they talk, their vernacular, their look, and they apply this type of aesthetic to try to profit off of it in some type of way, whether being an Instagram influencer, a model, a singer, an actor, whatever the case is. They apply this in their makeup, their look, their presentation, their style, their vernacular. Basically, the best way to describe this is white women pretending to be black women or mimicking them as caricatures. That's blackfishing. And it may not be in a cartoonish way, but in a way that is trying to blend. So examples of blackfishing is some of the things that Kim Kardashian, the Kardashian sisters have done. Stuff they've done to their lips, to their hair, to the darker bronze that they look to try to make themselves look racially ambiguous, right? Another example of this, really a good example, is Ariana Grande. So first of all, Ariana Grande is not Latinx. People always think she is because of the Grande part, but it's actually Grandi. She's Italian, and it's supposed to be Ariana Grande. And I have to always remind myself that it's Grandi too, because that's the way it's actually pronounced. And she's also Italian. She's not Latinx. She is a white woman. But you would not know that because a lot of the heavy bronzing and makeup she plays up this racial ambiguous look that has people thinking that she might be Blatino, which is black and Latinx, or that she might be just, a light-skinned black girl. But she plays up certain aesthetics to try to have sounds. And a perfect example of this, and this is why this song has always felt weird to me to listen to, is Seven Rings by Ariana Grande. It's a hit off of its production. But when you actually break down the problematicness of it, the song is really problematic. This woman appropriates a lot of black lingo, lyrics, flow, one of which was 2 Chainz, which there was controversy because basically the melody, all of that stuff, a lot of that sounds similar to a song that 2 Chainz did. And basically, even to the point where she had a trap house, a pink trap house. Like, what the fuck are you doing, girl? You don't know nothing about the trap. But Ariana Grande I'm going to be funny. I'll be real, but Ariana Grande has been on, tons of hip hop situations because she's dated hip hop artists, rappers, black men, and like to be in these circles in this mix. And she also has a lot of black writers like, Victoria Monet, who's a beautiful black woman who does great music herself, has a wonderful voice. And I wish her solo career would pop just as much as Ariana Grande. But unfortunately, racism, right? So the thing is that she has songwriters that are on her team that writes a lot of these songs with her that has inspired her sound, her flow, her aesthetic. I have listened to a lot of Victoria Monet's music, and it's Ariana Grande's sound and look has definitely mimicked that type of flow. Because you can listen to our Ariana Grande's music from the very beginning of her career to now, and she's definitely have gotten more hip hoppy, more R&B, more. It's very, very inspired. And what's so fucked up about it is that in this era where a lot of black artists like Summer Walker, who is problematic in her own right as an anti-vaxxer, whatever, but Ari Lennox, who's also very problematic and a Bill Cosby apologist apparently, these women are problematic across the board. But these individuals, or Jasmine Sullivan, right? These women in music, these black women in music do not get the same level of exposure, praise, marketability, or any of these things when you see a lot of these white women who've come over the years have acquired this type of sound and look and whatever they do. So that's the blackfishing, like catfishing. Like they fool you. And that's what it is with blackfishing. It's like they pull on this black look and sound aesthetic to fool you. Like catfishing. So, Wanna Thompson, coined this term and this idea and has been talking about it over the years. And I have definitely seen some of the weird things Ariana Grande has done in her music videos. You should go and look at some of her videos over the past couple years, and you will see certain videos where she looks darker than she really is. That Seven Rings video, listen to the sound, the look, the flow. That does not, the lighting, she purposely played up a hip hop look. She wanted to even look like it. She's really been obsessed with making herself darker. And if you look at original Ariana Grande, she's a white girl. A white girl. Look at her Nickelodeon days before she was this big old singer. She was a white girl who used to do Broadway back in the day when she was little. And she's from Florida. Florida woman. So it's a lot going on over there. And back to this girl, Jessie Nelson, the girls was not here for it. This video with Jessie Nelson, people knew her when she was in the group Little Mix, where she was British and white. And she's always had a couple of weird things she was doing in that group. But this solo look, she's got the grills, and she's got the chains, she got the long weave, and she's over there with Nicki Minaj, and they both over here looking like two black women are trying to give off this look. Her skin color's a little bit darker, her whole vibe and swag. I'm like, who the fuck is this? Who is this? What is this? What is going on? You want to think about people that has also done blackfishing, not with the color, but with the whole vibe and sound was Iggy Azalea. A joke. A fucking joke. Iggy Azalea was a joke. But Fancy was a cute little song. But how you do that? What? It was okay. Listen. All I'm saying is that everybody got problematic fades. Not as people, but things. I don't like what this represents. But I just have to say, when Fancy came out, I wish Fancy wasn't. I just am so mad. Because it was a cute little bop. Y'all remember when Fancy came out? Because it was on the charts for 7 weeks at number 1. So don't act like y'all wasn't listening to Fancy. Because y'all were. I definitely was. It was 2014. Look, we had to throw Miley Cyrus away at the time. And then Iggy came. Because remember Miley Cyrus? Bangers. Y'all remember Miley Cyrus. Okay. Another one who was blackfishing. Again, not doing nothing to her skin pigment, but that sound, that aesthetic, all of that stuff she was doing. Y'all remember when Miley was doing the most? Now she done calmed herself down. She's doing rock, and she's a white woman now. Okay. Remember, she got with a white man, just distanced herself from Mike Will Made It and everything. Okay, because I got some. Well, okay, so I ain't gonna pour that tea today. But listen, I done seen Miley Cyrus. I seen her with my own eyes in person back in the day. Okay, this is back in 2014, summer 2014, and she was sitting on Mike Will Made It's lap at the Skybox at the 2014 BET Awards. I was there. Regina King was up in there. Future and Sierra was there. Future bought us a bottle of Cristal and popped it. I was up there. Outkast was there. Mark Lamont Hill got cursed out by Big Boy, because Big Boy was on stage. They called him a stupid ass bitch, and he got embarrassed, and he tweeted about it, and you can Google all this. This actually happened. Regina King was up there. Keke Palmer was up there. I took pictures with all these people. Not everybody took a picture with me, but Keke did, and Regina King did, And I couldn't take a picture with Sierra and Future, but I saw them and I had drank that Cristal for the first time, and that was all fun. And I saw Miley Cyrus in there, and she was sitting on Mike Will made his lap, and I think his mother was in there too, or a family member. But I remember this very well, and I was like, "Oh, so they are dating? This is a relationship. They got something going on." She was the producer. She really going for that hip hop sound. It just was interesting. That's all I gotta say. I was in the room. I was in the box. This was during the BET experience before the BET Awards. This was June 2014. No lies told. Saw it with my own eyes. So there was a lot of blackfishing going on in the industry. See, I'm telling everything on the 40th episode. Okay, episode 40 is lit. And I've seen some things. I know a lot of other things, but this is not the episode to do all that. So anyway, anyway, um, mm, mm. So this blackfishing thing is a mess. I'm not here for it. Um, I'm not here for it. And that's just where I stand. I just don't know what else to say. Just Jesse Nelson's song, the music video is called Boys. If you want to see it and be like, oh my God, how could she? Please do. And don't listen to her again. That's all. So, let's talk about this wedding. Let's talk about this wedding planning. Let's talk about Groomzilla mode, reloaded. Um, so no, y'all, I'm not gonna really be a Groomzilla, but I've had some moments where I've had to be like, "Oh, really?" So I'll start on little things. It's not necessarily a Groomzilla thing, but like I just tell anybody that's getting married, getting engaged, thinking about getting married, let me just say this. Get you a day of coordinator. You don't got to get a wedding planner. That may be more expensive. And honestly, let me tell you something. Listen, if the fans want it, if y'all want it, I will give you all a wedding planning episode as a bonus episode when I have the ability to get off the ground, breathe, have the wedding, recuperate. I might do it, but I need you all to let me know if you want it. Because I'm not going to just do it just because I really want to do a thorough episode to just talk about it. And honestly, it could be like what they call an evergreen episode where people could go back and listen to this episode when they finally get married. If you finally get proposed, you could go back and say, oh, what's that Ernest special episode he did? It'll be a bonus episode. You could go back and listen to it, and you could just take notes and enjoy. And it's just my love, my wedding gift to all of you all. Because I do want to do that episode. I found myself now, um, feeling like a wedding expert, at least a wedding planning expert. I don't know about marriage counseling, all that kind of stuff, but I have found myself being in this position. I'm drinking a Spindrift, by the way. I'm obsessed with Spindrift, by the way. These sparkling waters. I've definitely become in my 30s. Now I'm excited about sparkling waters, flavored sparkling waters. And honestly, I've been into it because one, I want to increase my water intake in different ways, but also I wanted to stay away from like high sugar, high calorie type of stuff. And like, I don't drink pop, and everybody's laughing. Yes, I was born in Chicago, grew up with family from the Midwest. I say pop. I know, I say pop. So I, yeah, anyway, I have been trying to avoid pop, and I don't really drink pop that much anyway, but like this has been a great way. Like I'm also trying to avoid a lot of sugary juice because that's also a thing too. This added sugar. Look, I'm getting in my 30s, y'all. I'm trying to, change my mind, change my I got to change certain habits, okay? Because I got to preserve this beauty. You see this skin? Have you ever seen this natural, tight, beautiful skin, the elasticity on it, the shine, the melanin? This is beauty right here. But I want to preserve it. And so one of the things I've been big on has been switching and transitioning away from sugary juice. I've always been off of pop, like for a minute. But I love this flavored sparkling water. I like that it's naturally flavored. I like that it doesn't have all that added sugar, the fake sugar and all that shit. I just want, a little hint of a little bit of flavor. And also, this is just good for me. I just feel good drinking it. It fulfills what I need. And so, the lovely people at Spindrift saw my stand-up, and they mailed me a beautiful variety pack and several packs of their lovely sparkling waters. They got like 11 flavors, y'all. 11. And I've been drinking my way through the flavors. I don't know which one I like yet because everyone is pretty good in their own way. Like, I've been loving the pineapple situation. The grapefruit one has stuck with me. Mr. Johnson loves the grapefruit one, okay? He can't get enough of it. I love the lemon one. I mean, I'm just really feeling all the different ones. So you'll find out very soon or later. And then my good friend Raquel, she's like got me drinking Waterloo sparkling water. Like, this one is great. It has 0 calories, no sugar, no calories, no sugar in this one. And it's cute. You know, they got a peach flavor and a watermelon flavor, but you know, I like my Spindrift too. So I've been drinking them all. And this is not a commercial. I'm just saying. Okay, so back to the point I was trying to make. Um, get you a wedding planner. Now, I mean, get you a day of coordinator. I do plan to do an episode like this, but like I said, let me start with the basics. I did not get a wedding planner. And I personally am happy I didn't because I sometimes think that what I've heard from people in the streets, because the streets be talking, the blogs are having a field day, that a lot of these wedding planners out here are trying, they have relationships with other vendors and they want to force certain vendors on you to get certain types of commissions off of those situations. So if you have the time, take the time to really get into studying different vendors and different things. Because if you don't and you let the wedding planner pick all those things for you, they may not be to your liking, and honestly, you might be getting charged and ripped off. So take some time to study different vendors and take the time to explore. And I would say during the pandemic and just during this wedding process, me and Mr. Johnson got to really explore the different options and do a lot of study. And we just planned our wedding, you know, from scratch. What I love about the day of coordinator is that once you get your vendors, once you pay your deposits, once you pay off your shit, you need somebody to be the master orchestra, you know, the master orchestrator that can get everything together and just like get everybody into shape and plan everything and talk to the people about the logistical aspects that is not going to be easy for you to do by yourself. And so that day of coordinator is that's all they're about, is making sure the day of the wedding is legit, making sure that everybody involved with the vending and all that stuff got their stuff together, making sure that they talk to all the right people, make sure everybody come on time, make sure everything is set. They do all of that. You don't have to do that. They do that. That's their job. They just follow up with the people. And they don't, you know, I don't need no recommendations on plan. All I need them to do is just make sure everybody else do their part. They follow up with the design team, everything like that. So I was very happy. I think that was the best advice I had during this wedding is us getting a day of coordinator. And it was the best. Her name is Jacqueline. She comes from Two Birds Planning. She's everything. And her business is everything. And it's woman owned. And all of my vendors are either women owned, black owned, or of a color owned, women owned, LGBTQ owned. Yes, that's all of my vendors. Everybody in my vendors list is doing a thing. So I'm happy. So one of the things that I'm so happy about having a day of coordinator is that they be spotted the littlest things that you just don't know. So one thing happened with my cake designer who was fabulous. I love them. I didn't realize, because remember I keep telling you every week there's always one that pops up. So this week, in this week's edition of What Popped Up, which is now everything is starting to get tighter, but like I didn't know that the cake that we got did not have a cake stand. We had to buy a cake stand for the cake. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't even think of a cake stand. I didn't even, what the hell? So fortunately, we have the cake stand. That's fine. Woo! Thank God for a day of coordinator because I would have never thought about that. So voila. Um, the well, not to give off too many details, but my day of coordinator helped me in a situation where we wasn't sure about the time of the wedding and when it begins and starts. We want the after party, right? Like I thought it was over at 10:30, but my day of coordinator looked at the contract and realized that after party section actually is at 11. So that changed the dynamics of giving us extended time to still keep the party going at a particular venue that we didn't even know because we thought we was going to have to start everything a little bit earlier. But actually, they looked at the contract specifically and realized we actually had an extra 30 minutes to end and start at the beginning. And we didn't even know that. Again, shout out to the day of coordinator. I can't emphasize that enough. Day of coordinators will change your life for real, for real, for real. All right. So that's there. Now let's get into some of this Groomzilla shit. I have noticed with planning this wedding as I've gotten closer that there are a lot of bitter ass, hating ass people that just feel some type of way about people celebrating their weddings. And it's not necessarily like it's personal towards me, but I just think there's just etiquette that people should just have in mind when people are having a wedding and just like go to like what the fuck. So I've seen people recently, and I know it's because a lot of fall weddings, but like come to me with this very bitterness, okay, bitter bitch assness is what I really want to say, but I've just said it hell about oh, marriage isn't for everybody, and the institution of marriage, I think, is so archaic, and the paternalism and the patriarchy. It's like, shut up. Like, my thing is like, listen, if you don't like the institution of marriage, or you personally think marriage is that third, okay, cool. Have your beliefs, have your thoughts, but that is nothing you share with a person that's about to get married. It's not that it's going to affect what I believe because I like marriage. I want to be married. My marriage is how I choose to define it. How myself and my fiance are going to create this. My future husband and I are going to define our own marriage. But at the end of the day, like, stop projecting. And I've noticed this with a lot of cishet people. It's not as many gay people at all. I don't have any queer people I know who've really been. There's been a couple that just have their own thoughts about marriage in general. That's their own business. But none of them have projected it in my area. I've gotten it from a lot of ex-people who've had divorces and yada, yada, yada. Okay, it didn't work out for you. It wasn't your thing. Cool. But don't come over here with that kind of negative energy. Don't come in here with that shit. Like, fall off. Fall back. Ugh. I don't know. I just think it's tacky. I think people just should think about considering and having mindfulness. And it's a lot of that subtle, some subtle hating. It's a lot of subtle passive aggressiveness, insecurities, people just selfish, thinking about themselves and how these things mean to them. Listen, respect everybody's space. For example, the holidays. I know that there are some people that the holidays are not their favorite thing because they have, memories and sad situations. The holidays for me is a joyous time. I came out on Christmas Eve, as you all know, to my family many, many years ago. I got proposed to on Christmas Eve of 2019. That I have gotten job promotions around that time. Christmas Eve the Christmas season, the holiday has always been a good time for me. I've always had some of my favorite memories and thoughts and experiences and announcements and things around that time. That's just always been a thing. But I also recognize that there are some people that the holiday season make them think about other things, and it's very different for them. What I've learned is that if I read a person's situation where that's not their thing, I don't force things on people. I don't force people to be in the quote unquote holiday spirit. I don't force people to adapt or adjust to what my set experiences are. But I also expect the same in return. And I think we just have to be more mindful about where we are and how we communicate with people and read the fucking room. And I don't think a lot of people are doing that anymore. Some people aren't. And it is a little annoying. That's one thing. What's also been annoying is this conversation around this photographer. Now, I've heard mixed stories. We don't really know the truth. I mean, I've heard that this didn't happen the way the person described it. But whatever the case is, it's been a lot of debate on the internet. This situation, yes, fucking yes. I know the story of the photographer who deleted the photos allegedly after he wasn't fed by the wedding, the couple. Listen, all I gotta say is, and y'all saw my stance on this on social, but I'm going to break this down because I am someone who is in a situation where I am getting married and I know about this very well in my circle. Let me tell y'all something. Okay? Come closer to your earphones. Come closer to this podcast. Turn this volume up if you might be somewhere and you was like, I'm just going to doze. This is the part where you might want to hear this part. You better feed the fuck out of anybody who is participating in your wedding or any type of events where you have them doing a service that is extended and long as fuck. Period. That's what we're going to do. Period. I have never done an event, whether it was a birthday or something, where I had people that was doing a service for me and they were not fed. You are a barbarian. You are trash. You are tacky as fuck. You are cheap as fuck. And you're disgusting to think that someone should do an entire event for you for several hours on end and you do not have any substance for their body. You're disgusting. You're despicable. And that's horrible. And people that do that should not be able to have weddings or should not do a wedding. If you cannot afford to feed your vendors at your wedding, then you should not have a wedding because clearly you can't afford to have one. I'm going to tell you, as a person who's having a wedding, let me break something down to y'all. Let me put y'all some game real quick. Vendor meals is an option that most caterers do afford and a lot in the event that you're having at a classy venue or you're having a big wedding. There is vendor meal options that are provided. Now, for my wedding in particular, if I had a buffet, then I would let people eat the buffet. But because this is a pandemic and I'm still trying to maintain social distancing, I didn't do a buffet for my wedding. It's going to be a plated dinner. My plated dinner is in the way we do plates at the caterer is different from vendor meals. People say, what's the difference between a vendor meal and a plated meal? Well, let me explain. The plated meals are factored in several things. It includes multiple courses. It includes, the desserts. It includes liquor in there. It includes the wine, the beverage, everything that you're pricing out for your actual attendees. They're factored in, and they're very expensive. Okay, I'm not going to tell you how much my plate at my wedding is, but I will tell you that it's over $200. Definitely over a little bit more than that. It's over $200 per plate. So that's the situation. But I will say that my situation is very pricey. But it's also because I was doing the fucking most. Well, we both were, because Mr. Johnson had some things. I was like, you want to do that? He was like, yeah, we got to do that. I said, okay, cool. So anyway, it was a little pricey on my end. However, vendor meals are not that much because of the fact that with caterers, they don't factor in the liquor. They don't do 1,000 multiple course. They provide a very at least with our caterer, a very solid meal that do address for dietary restrictions, all those type of things, allergies, all that kind of stuff. And they provide, other beverages that are not alcoholic or whatever to make sure they're fed. And it's done in a way that is not all the formal things, the formalities, like all the fancy plating, all that kind of stuff is out of that equation. So those meals are way, way cheaper as far as production goes, because you're paying for in that plate is all these extra endeavors to make the experience the experience. And I think a lot of people think when they hear about feeding vendors, they're thinking that these vendors are added onto the larger scale. They're not, because quite frankly, these meals, if they're doing their work and stuff, they're meant to eat in a certain area and get their work done, but it's not meant to be like as another table, another decoration. So most people don't have their vendors a part of their wedding in that kind of fashion. That's not what is this case. And I think people don't understand the logistics until you have a wedding and know that. So for starters, it's not saying that your vendors are your wedding guests and that all of them sit there. Now, as far as my photographers go, my photographers are included as my wedding guests because we know the photographers, and there is a level to which what they do is they're not dictated to have to take photos, and they can sit down and enjoy themselves and partake in the wedding because they're all also guests as well. So that's a very different dynamic. But as far as the DJ, the production lighting crew, the wedding, all that's different. That's a different type of vibe for the planning and everything like that. And vendors and wedding planners understand that, and professionals do. Now, I heard that there are photographers in their contracts that do speak into their contract that they do get meals and food. Yes, absolutely, they should. But if you're a photographer who does not have that clause in your contract, we're just talking about one photographer, but there are tons of other vendors who don't include those type of things in their contracts. It varies. But like the truth of the matter is that if it does or does not, I just think that you should never create a situation where that should even be a question. I don't even think it should be a question. I don't even think that any person working your wedding should wonder, is this a situation where they can eat? And I've heard from several artists and bands and musicians that I've been told that they've gone to weddings and have performed and traveled, and that this is literally something they don't do. There are some people out here who think, oh, you getting paid, you're supposed to do your job. Are you fucking kidding me? Like what is the humanity? I feel like if you have an event or space, you should have water wherever you go. You shouldn't tell a person who's your professional trainer, oh, you getting paid so you could go buy your water. Like, what kind of heartless, selfless, nobody's going to ever want to work with you. Nobody's going to ever want to work for you. Nobody's ever want to deal with you. And quite frankly, if you're a man or a woman, whomever in your marriage that's like that on your side, your partner should be side-eyeing you, because that's going to tell you what kind of person you're going to be married to. Just saying. I've seen and heard some interesting things over the past couple of days on this debate, but where I stand on it is everybody eats. Okay? Everybody eats. Everybody eats. Everybody eats. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. If you're going to put on a production, heavy lies of motherfucking crime. If you can't take care of your people and make sure everybody's straight with the food and everything like that, you shouldn't be doing it. People ask me, oh, we let them get goodie bags and all this and that. Everybody got their own little thing. Let me tell you what I'm going to do. Let me tell you what me and Mr. Johnson are going to do. Let me tell you what we going to do when it comes to getting this wedding together. We are going to send all of our vendors individual handwritten cards with cash tips. Because that's what we do. That's what I was told. The etiquette was you give them a hand. Well, this is the extra part, but you tip these people at the end, even though you've paid them for services. If they execute their services, it's all good. Ain't nobody being a racist, a bigot, a homophobe, whatever. Everybody chill. Everybody doing their thing. Everybody did right. I got handwritten cards with cash money in them, and I'm going to give them to each of the vendors who worked the wedding and did their thug thizzle. Period. I'm definitely going to be doing that. I'm definitely going to show that love to those particular people that showed up and showed out. Period. That's just the given. I'm not like, that's just what you're supposed to do. That's just how you show love. That's how you show up, and that's how you show a token of appreciation. If you can't do that, you're on the wrong side of this. Period. I'm dead ass like that. If you can't do that, you're on the wrong side. You're on the wrong side of this. You're on the wrong side. That's what I'm gonna do, and I just think that this is having class. It's just what it is. This is who I am as a person. When I go to really nice restaurants or whatever, I typically know how much I'm gonna end up paying, or whatever the case is. I normally do prefix, but I have a tradition of getting really nice thank you cards, and I like to handwrite nice letters and notes and give really nice cash tips and put them in envelopes. And I tell you that doing that has always been just a token, like it's just a nice thing to do. And this is something that I've done for a while now, and it's just what I do. And I just think that if you're going to do these nice things and go to nice places and do those type of things, you have to pay it forward. I just believe in good karma. I believe in good energy. And I believe that because I've done those type of things, that by nature, I've always been a place where those type of good fortunes and kindness and things have been bestowed upon me. I think I'm very blessed in life, partially because I am often very generous in my own way, or try to be, or strive to be thoughtful and considerate as well. I put good out there. I hope good come to me. That's just the energy, right? That's just life. I think that's what you should just do as a person. And I think some of these people out here that's very fickle and very stingy, then they're the same people that's on social media and online talking about why their stuff ain't moving a certain way, because look how you going. Look how your character is. This is very, very telling. This very, very telling. I'll just say that. Just saying. If you're going to have a big old way, if you're going to do all that, take your ass to the court and go have you a 2-for-1 at TGI Fridays. And there's no shame to couples that do it. I'm just saying, if you're going to have a big ass wedding production, you're trying to do all this extra shit, you better do it for real, for real. You got to include the tax, the tip, and the gratuity. You got to include all the bells and whistles. And if you can't do it like that, then you shouldn't have a wedding like that. Don't have a big wedding if you can't afford a big wedding. A big wedding includes all the bells and whistles. It don't include some of it. You can't be a cheap ass. You can't be cutting and all that. Be real. Be real. That's all. That's all. All right. So getting into this other thing, because I gotta keep it 100. I have to keep it 100. There's this trend, and it's been bugging me for the past year. And it didn't hit me until I got married. Like, when you're getting married in the process, you start to see how other people do their wedding, or what people do at weddings, and behavior and etiquette. And it became this big old debate, and almost like I wouldn't say scandal, but it was a big old thing on my Twitter end over the past weekend, this debate. And some people chimed in and said some things. And I just, so there's been this whole conversation I've been having with my friend circle. It started because one of the women in my wedding party, my good Judy, one of my good friends, she is friends with a guy on Instagram. He was in a picture. He has a girlfriend. She follows the boyfriend. She follows the male friend, and his girlfriend, both of their accounts. So she was on the girlfriend's account. And it was a Saturday night. They was in a picture together by a shore, like by a dock or something. Like it was like a boat. I don't know if it was, I think it was a Mushu maybe. or maybe not. It was like somewhere on a boat. It was like a dock. And they were sitting together at a table looking out the view. And it was this cute picture of them. She was in a very beautiful dress. He was nice. I think he was in a suit looking good. Very cute picture. So it looked like, oh, this is a cute date night. Like, okay, this is a date night. They're on a date. Well, my friend clicked on the girl, the boyfriend's, well, the girl's boyfriend, which is her friend, the main friend's, his page, his Instagram page. She clicked on his page because I guess she wanted to see, oh, where they was at, what were they doing, what was else with the date. So, both of the accounts. So when she went on his account and she scrolled through his like photo dump, not only were they together, but they were at an entire wedding that was on a boat, and it was actually the dude's sister who was getting married. But his own girlfriend didn't disclose that there was a wedding or anything. She just kind of played off like she was. It was the weirdest fucking shit ever. So the issue for me, and the thing from my side was like, that's kind of weird. So you went to your your boyfriend's sister's wedding, and you just post this picture of you and him, and there's no other pictures or images. Like, that's kind of weird. That's my thing. So that was weird. But the thing is that this speaks to a larger problem I've noticed lately, where I've seen like guys or girls, both men or women, have gone on these weddings, and there's no picture of the couple. There's no real indicators of the wedding, except they just take their own solo photos by themselves, and they're all dressed up, and or whatever. They're just taking photos, and like, listen, people can do what they want, and like, if you want to take your photos, that's cool. But I just think it's just weird that you're going to a wedding and literally the pictures that you're posting is just yourself. Like, somebody spent hella money for you to be at their shit, and you're making it like you're literally making it about you on someone else's big day. Like, look, I've gone to weddings, and let me be clear, me and Mr. Johnson will take photos together. But like, when I do my photo dump, it's like I'm at a wedding. I'm like, here's the food we ate. It looked good. I'm with the couple. Here's a picture of me and the couple. Shout out to this couple that I clearly like, because if I don't like them, I wouldn't be at their fucking wedding, right? Here's the venue. It's a dope ass venue. It's a pretty boat wedding. Here's Barry and I together at the wedding. Like, it's a spread, yo. It's like you're celebrating all of it. I just think that's weird. Why would you go to someone's wedding and just take pictures of your fucking self? I just think that's weird. Like, it's one thing to take a picture of yourself in addition to other photos, but just to make it about yourself and there's nothing else, I don't get it. I don't personally get it. So I said this on Twitter, and there was some people that really was just trying to frame me out like this bad guy. Like, oh, this is weird, Ernest, yada, yada, yada. Like, trying to call me. I was like, damn, hold up. First of all, I'm trying to put this on. First of all, I would have never given a fuck about this 2 years ago. And I probably won't give a fuck about this like a year from now. But because I'm in wedding mode, there's just certain things that's making me feel some type of way. And that's just normal. It's like this weird, it's not like nerves. Like, I'm not nervous about getting married, but I just think I'm highly sensitive about certain things just in general because I'm about to get married. So like, there's little things you think of, you're like for me, I'm projecting. Like, I'm thinking in my head, like, I would be pissed the fuck off if I had got married. I mean, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, but like, if I had all of my guests and they did not show no pictures of anything that was going on in the wedding and just took pictures of themselves only, and that's just it, and they never said anything about the wedding, I'm like, so, I feel some type of way. I'm sorry. Whatever. Get mad, whatever. Fuck it. Like, I would feel some type of way. I know y'all did not just come to the wedding of the year and act like, just keep it at 100. Like, I would feel some type of way. I think it's weird. And I don't know, maybe because I'm also getting in a black queer wedding, that it's just like, part of me would sense different thoughts. Like, and I've seen this happen at other people's weddings. There's just some clarity. I've had other black queer folks that I know who've gotten married, and their parents or family or whatever did not take pictures of them and their partner together, almost as if in a way to like cover the fact that it was a gay wedding. And maybe I'm not thinking none of my family or people are going to do that. Like, look at the fucking wedding shower. The wedding shower, I think, was the perfect example of like idealistically like how I think my wedding photos are going to be with folks. Like, everybody's taking pictures, everybody's together. There's so much love. Like, I don't have this concern for my wedding. Let me just be clear. But I'm just thinking about, I've seen it happen to other black couples or queer couples or same gender couples in general, where there were folks that would take pictures with one of the people, but not both. Or they didn't take pictures of any other thing. Like, it was very weird. I've seen a lot of that. I've seen a lot of that, personally. Just saying. Have seen that. And, for me, I just feel like, if you're coming to a wedding, you should do your thing. Now, I've also heard this caveat that apparently this is what the straights are doing. I don't know too many of the gays doing this, but the straights apparently have this thing where they don't want no one taking pictures of them or with them because their professional photos will be the reveal. Get the fuck over yourselves. Y'all not Beyonce and Celine Dion. Y'all not all that to be doing all that. Stop that. Stop that. Let me just say this, where I stand. And Mr. Johnson agrees. I'm going to tell you like this. If you come to my wedding, you're going to get a photo with the couple. Yes, you are. You get a photo. You get a photo. We all get a fucking photo. Because to me, for you to come down from Houston, Texas, Detroit, Michigan, DC, New York, Baton Rouge, Miami, like LA, if you're coming from all over the country to come to this wedding, and you're taking out that time, making that trip, getting that hotel room, doing that, how dare I not allow you to have a photo with me and my boo? How could you not? I just think that's blasphemous. I think that is, again, I don't know, how do you do that? Listen, everybody got their own fucking way, I suppose, but I just don't even know. I could not do that. Like, first of all, every wedding I've been to, I got pictures with the couple because, of course, I don't know. People say, oh, it's so many people. I'm sorry. Either two things need to happen. Either A, you need to know how to get it together with that or invite the right people, whatever. We got 100 people coming in total. So we're going to, and that includes my large ass wedding party. So we're going to be able to get photos with everybody. And that's what we plan to do at the cocktail hour. We're just going to be taking our pictures. Because at the reception, we do plan to enjoy that time together, to eat dinner together, to have that time of intimacy. And then the after party, we're going to take our pictures and we maybe take more pictures, party and socialize. But the reception is going to be for us to enjoy dinner together as husband and husband, as Mr. and Mr., and really enjoy that time. But I think the cocktail hour will be immediately after the ceremony. We're going to go straight into just having some snacks and some drinks, taking the pictures, doing a thing, just working our way around. Our day of coordinator team and the assistant, everybody going to be making sure we hit our spots and hit our bumps and do all of that. And then let the reception be our intimate date night somewhat. And then let the after party be, okay, everybody, let's go to the dance floor, let's do our thing, and just taking those times to just mix and mingle with everybody. So there's a plan, and I think that we're gonna make it work. And like I said, it's also important what we're trying to do too is with this live recording of the birthday party, we're going to see some people early. So we're going to already have people in the flow and the mix of everything. So that's the plan we're having coming into this. You got to have a game plan for something like that. Let me just be clear. Because I do hear stories. I've heard stories. But I think that's because a lot of times couples don't sit down and really talk about that kind of stuff. Like, what is the execution? What is the photo situation? Have you messaged your team? Have you told your guests up front about the photo situation? I know that in our wedding newsletter, because we've been doing a wedding newsletter, y'all, that's something else I'm going to talk about in my little special episode down the road. I will tell people, invest in a newsletter or mass communication for your wedding group, because everybody should be in the loop or be getting the communication and knowing what the flow is, the demands and requests. And so Constant Contact, that newsletter, email newsletter service, they have been super dope. Shout out to Constant Contact. They've been great. I can see who read the messages, who haven't. I'll get on the phone, text them, say, hey, you got an email, check your email. Like, it's been a really cool tool and a really great way to get everybody in the loop and know what's going on with this wedding. So shout out to Constant Contact. But no, it's been a journey, navigating this planning and things, but I'm really serious about that. I want to take a picture with every couple. And I do think that's going to be possible. We're going to achieve it. And also, I think the thing too is that because so much of the wedding party up front is involved early on, it's going to be, we're going to be able to do all the photos and all this cool stuff in advance. So really, we're going to only have about maybe 70-ish people, but then there's like couples, so they're in pairs. So we're looking at about 30 couples or pairs, but that's easy. Just knock those out one by one and just get those selfies in. I don't think it's going to be that bad. I just think it's one of those things where you just, get it in, and just have a good time and flow. And also just communicate with your people, like up front, like what's the look, what's the plan, what's the deal? Because you want to give people that opportunity too. Because I've heard from some people that the reason why they said they haven't taken pictures with the couple is because they weren't allowed to. I'm like, what? First of all, my wedding photos are going to be their own event within themselves that does not need to be revealed in a way like that. Like some people really do take themselves seriously. Like as somebody who is I guess a public figure, a known person, a local celebrity, whatever, even I don't even have too much of that. Like I do have to be a little top secret about certain details and certain stuff. Yes. But when it comes to access and things like that, I just think if it's with people that you trust and you love, like everybody at my wedding are people that I trust and I love. I'm not going to act funny with people I trust and love at something that they didn't have to be at, nor did I have to invite them. If I want them to be there, there should be that, Just saying. Because I low key at the reception, I don't want to do the huge, long, drawn out, we got to go to every table kind of thing. I think a lot of people do that, and that's just exhausting. I would rather do some of that kind of stuff, the cocktail hour one by one, and I let the after party be the place where I can talk to some people and have fun. Because I don't want to do too much dancing. I'm going to do some dancing. But I want to, I'll take some time to some people and mix and mingle. But I definitely see a vision. That also comes from experience, like going to a lot of events, going to work in the room, learning how to navigate something. I know weddings are a little bit different, and I'm realizing that, but it's just, you got to find a flow. And I'm definitely going to do that. But I just had to get some of that off my chest because, some people, man, some folks out here, I mean, it's like, let me enjoy this moment. Let me, and listen, I don't need to ask for permission. I just think some folks, they just, again, mindfulness is essential. The word of the episode, mindfulness. Speaking of mindfulness, this impeachment episode. I have been watching impeachment, y'all, FX. We are halfway done. Shit is about to get real. The second part of impeachment, okay? American Crime Story impeachment. Yo, we're finally at that point, y'all. We are finally at the point where the gloves come off. Linda Tripp and Monica, the kinship, the betrayal, the relationship has now fractured. It's gloves off. Monica, the FBI is getting Monica right now. They're about to question her. Linda Tripp then handed over the receipts. It's about to go down. Okay, I've been waiting for this part. This is the part where I'm like, okay, I'm getting familiar. What's going on? Like, it's. I know for those of you all who are over the age of 40, who already lived through the Bill Clinton saga, you're like, I've already seen this. They talk about this shit all the fucking time. Let my little 29, 30-year-old ass enjoy this. Because I've not seen this drama. I've seen documentaries, but I've always wanted to see this in a movie type of form. So I'm enjoying the all of the drama of this, and it's good. It's addictive. It's good. Sarah Paulson, oh my gosh, she's killing this Linda Tripp. And I do like this actress Bernie, who is also a sibling of another great actor who's an Oscar winner. He's she's a great actress. She's playing. So her name is, Beanie Feldstein, and she's a great actress. She was in several really hit movies, and her brother is Jonah Hill. Jonah Hill, that great actor. who got Oscar nominations, played in several great films. She went to Wesleyan. She's 28. Her name, she's great. He's been in movies like her brother has been in The Wolf of Wall Street and Moneyball, which he received an Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor for both of those films, Wolf of Wall Street and Moneyball. And he's been in a lot of other good movies. And yeah, they're siblings. And yeah, Beanie Feldstein. And she's been in some good movies too. And she's made a name for herself. And she's also has done Broadway, and she was in Booksmart and Lady Bird, which I love that film. Yeah, she's quite interesting. So she's playing Monica Lewinsky, and she is good. And here's the crazy part: her oldest brother is Maroon Five. It was the Maroon Five manager. His name is Jordan Feldstein, but he died at 40 from a blood clot. He died in 2017. It's yeah. Yeah. And she's best friends with Ben Platt as well. It's a lot. She's an interesting actress and everything else. So yeah, Jonah Hill's younger sister is killing it as Monica Lewinsky. And who else is in this? Blair Underwood is in this film. I mean, this miniseries. First of all, Blair Underwood, I don't know he's got a whole new, he's got a comeback. He's just has popped back up, playing in this impeachment show, which is shocking because I was like, what's going on? So he's playing Vernon Jordan in impeachment. And Vernon Jordan was Bill Clinton's, he's now deceased, but he was basically one of Bill Clinton's like top, guys to go to. And Vernon is a black man. He's basically like, a business executive, civil rights guy. And he's an often forgotten player in this whole scandal because he's the one who gave, he gives Monica Lewinsky that job and he helps her get the job at Revlon. And he was a civil rights activist. He was a business executive. He basically is a close friend of Bill Clinton. They are like homies. He's now passed away, but he basically helped orchestrate Monica Lewinsky moving out of the White House to the Pentagon before the uncovering of this whole affair. And he was brought to the witness stand during the impeachment trial. His deposition was the most closely watched and was also one of the most messiest to speak within Clinton's team. And it's very interesting. And people have described Blair Underwood's performance as the show's more understated but really well done performances. He's good and it's very chill, but it's phenomenal. So yeah, I definitely, like I said, he's been killing it these past couple episodes. I'm excited to see what happens next. I think this is the upcoming episode is when the FBI talks to Monica and Linda Tripp is in the other bedroom in the hotel and it's going down and Kenneth Starr. It's time. And also, where the fuck is Hillary? Whoever been watching it, we just keep getting hinted about Edie Falco, which is playing Hillary Clinton, and she has not like had a moment yet. I don't know if it's gonna be this episode, but they've been keeping her like hidden. Like Hillary has not made the ultimate appearance. Now, the first episode, you see Linda Tripp in the bathroom, and there's this scene where Hillary, right, played by Edie Falco, which is Nurse Jackie, and of course The Sopranos. She's in the bathroom, she comes out of the bath, washes her hands, and then, there's a look, but then they just leave. There's nothing else. And we don't really see anything else of her after that. And I'm just kind of like, where's Hillary? So we're just waiting for Hillary. I want to see, there's going to be some new characters that emerge, like, where's Hillary? So I do want to see if she's going to play it off. People have been very skeptical about Edie Falco playing Hillary Clinton. I mean, it is an interesting choice because there's definitely been other women over time that have done it, but it's going to be interesting to see all the players. But there's a lot of great cast in this. Billy Eichner is playing Matt Drudge. Kobe Smothers is playing Ann Coulter, and she's playing her really, really well. Annalee Ashford is playing Paula Jones, and I don't know if you've been hearing in the news, but basically Annalee Ashford, this actress, this Tony winning actress, has she has been doing interviews with the Los Angeles Times, but Paula Jones, the real life Paula Jones, has said that this is has criticized the film, said it's not a real accurate portrayal of her. She's been very critical. Like I said, Clive Owen as Bill Clinton is juicy. Clive Owen has been doing a good job, and actually, this his Bill Clinton look is grown on me because he used to listen back in the day. Listen, Clive Owen has just got swagger. Judith Light is playing Susan Carpenter McMillan, which is a really great. She's just killing it. Taron Killam is playing Steve Jones, which is also pretty good. It's a lot of interesting people. And Steve Jones is Paula Jones' husband. But he's getting a really good opportunity to really kill it. And her husband is a Saturday Night alumnus. The person playing Steve Jones is a Saturday Night alumnus, Taron Killam, who does a really good job playing Paula Jones' husband. So there's been some interesting cast choices overall. And I've been excited. So I like this, and I'm just been really, yeah, I don't know. I've been really falling for this show, um, because it's just it's a history moment in time that I mean, hopefully we don't ever see happen again in America. I mean, yes, there's been other creeps and things, but this has been nothing like this, and it's just I don't know. It's a moment in time. I've been watching Queen Sugar. Queen Sugar has been getting interesting on so many different levels, and I know a lot of people. I don't know if people are still watching it, but I'm been curious about a certain relationship that is brewing on the show, and it's not between the straight folks. It's between Micah and this boy. Now I don't know what's going on. If you guys been watching it, I don't want to. I just think it's. I was like, I've been sensing something, and this last episode, it just seems to get a little like people are seeing like I don't know. It's getting it. Pay attention to details. Ava DuVernay, she has her moments, but like she and just the creator of the show and just the directors, they're doing these cool little things to get you prepared for something. And I think I know what it's going to be. I don't want to say it out loud, but all I say is you should look at who the real actor is in real life and how his journey has been since the show, and you probably already know. But like, I wonder if that's going to happen to Micah in this season because it's getting close, and I'm seeing little things. I'm like, hmm. That's all I'm gonna say. I picked up on my thought about what was gonna happen to this character when I saw the preview because it was like the way they was walking. Look, I just know too much. I'm like, it's clear what's gonna happen, but you just have to just watch. Hmm. Hmm. But I will say, as far as this sidebar, Ralph Angel in this show, of course, played by Kofi. I I really like his character. Just melts my heart. He's just so. He's awesome. He's always at first I used to think he was whiny and crybaby-ish, and Mr. Johnson used to always be like, he cries all the damn time on the show. I'm like, yeah, he's a little whiny, a little baby, and a little bratty. But Ralph Angel is just like, you just melt for him because he's a guy who really wants to do good, and he just finds himself in trouble all the damn time. And I just like, don't screw this up, because his character is he's with Bianca Larson, who is now, I can say this is accurate, she is the sister-in-law of Beyonce. She's Beyonce's sister-in-law. I think that's accurate. No, is she? Is that sister-in-law or daughter? No, sister-in-law. I think it would be sister-in-law. Maybe, well, so to clarify this, or no, actually, take that back. Actually, this is Beyonce's stepsister. Let me clarify that. Bianca Lawson is Beyonce's stepsister. So Tina knows Beyonce's mother is married to Richard Lawson, which is this great black actor who's doing some incredible good work, and he's been on soap operas and small films and other movies and things like that. They got married, okay? And Bianca Lawson, which you all probably remember her in Save the Last Dance, she was also in Buffy the Vampire Slayer. She's like super young looking and gorgeous, but she's like in her like early 40s, I believe, or late 30s. But she's always played, I feel like, younger characters. Like she's always, I feel like playing characters that look like they could be in like college or early 20s because she looks so young. She's gorgeous. And she is the daughter of Richard Lawson from his previous, encounters in life and experiences and marriages. But she is, the step sister to Beyonce and Solange. And that is, Tina knows, is her stepmother. Yes. Yes. She's connected to the Beyonce tribe. And I did put it together until recently, but yes, they are family. So she's been an actress for many years, long before Richard set eyes on Tina. And probably in her wildest dreams, never thought to herself, or either both of them was like, one day we're going to be, in family together. Like, who would have thought? Like, I wonder if she, was like, one day Beyonce is going to be my, stepsister. Or Beyonce saw Say Last Dance and saw her and it was like, that's going to be my stepsister one day. Like, who would have thought? Because Matthew Knowles was still in the picture, but who would ever thought? So life is funny that way, but she's an incredible actress on her own. Maybe she could teach Beyonce some acting lessons. No shade, but just, if Beyonce wants to still act, she doesn't have to. But if she wants to get back into acting, now she got Bianca, so maybe they can work together and do some films or some things together. Who knows? But no, that's been a very interesting observation through time. So, yeah. So, everything, I think I've said everything I want to say into this live recording. This is it. 29, episode 40. Okay? The next time you hear me on air, on a podcast live, it will be live and I will be 30. And we will be taping it live on October 12th. And, it's going to be massive. My bestie, Jamarcus, is going to co-host. It's going to be a special edition because, that's the only way we do this. Special edition episode. We're going to be taking questions from from fans. So the fans and family and friends who are coming to the party, in their application, okay, first of all, the whole crowd and audience is going to be fully vaxxed. Let's just be clear. It's going to be fully vaxxed. Food, drinks, everything. They are going to submit questions. Now, I am not going to know who wrote the questions. Everything's going to be anonymous on my end. So I'm not going to know who wrote the questions. But Jamarcus, who's going to be the lovely co-host with me, he's going to ask me these questions from the questions that were submitted in advance from fans and people like that. Now, this was the guests that are coming. So they have burning questions they've always wanted to ask me. And I'm going to be doing this special and talking and sharing those experiences and answering those questions. And it's going to be fun. So I can't wait. Can't wait to see, see everybody who's going to be there. The party's going to be lit. Some of y'all know who y'all are. I can't wait to see some of y'all in person. And it's going to be a fun time. It's going to be memorable and it's going to be epic. And yeah, I am so excited. I mean, shoot, it's going to be that. And then next time it's going to be wedding. So like the next time we actually probably have like an actual episode, like episode 41, I will be married by then. I'll be 30 by then. Yeah, it's gonna be different. So, I guess that's it. That's it. Love you all. Can't wait to see you all soon. And as always, be best. Ernestly Speaking is recorded in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and can be found on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud. To stay up to date with the latest on the show, follow me on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Mr. Ernest Owens. Use the hashtag Ernestly Speaking to tell me what you thought about this episode, and check out my website at ernestowens.com.